Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is SP Jimmy, and you're here because you want to roll a Stalker. Whether you want to go through PvE and skip door missions and get into the middle of mobs before everybody else and pull aggro, or go into PvP and one-shot noobs who haven't completed their sets and have less than 2k HP, you can do all of it, and I'm going to take you down the road to show you how. But first, I do want to say that I'm hosting a costume contest live stream pretty soon. Get your costumes sent to me, and I will have to let you guys know when that's going to be. Send your costumes into costumecontestjimmy@gmail.com. There is no theme required yet. You can do a login screen. You can do out in the city. Winners will be announced on the stream. There is one entry per email account, and there will be in-game prizes, real-life prizes, depends how many people we get. So hop in and get some free stuff. Instead of lining up under Atlas Park, we get to just do it on a stream together. It's going to be really fun. All right, looking at the Stalker today, we're going to review the primary, melee, and secondary defense power sets. Every Stalker gets to use hide, we know that, and they have some differences from the other archetypes that share powers with them. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. So let's figure out what the good ones are. We'll discuss for each one what are the best ones for PvE, what are the best ones for PvP, what's the consensus on that, and what are people rolling right now. There are some cool tricks that you can take advantage of if you are a Stalker that other ATs don't get to do, and then I have some builds lined up for us to explore on the Pines Hero Builder. So, without stopping, let's go. Here we have the Stalker archetype. You have okay survivability. A lot of that's because you're invisible or you're jumping in and out. Actually, that's a misconception because nowadays Stalkers just stay in the fray. We have an ability called Assassin Strike. For every primary ability, there's a form of Assassin Strike, which if you use it in hide, you lie down and you get your arms back, and then you wait, and then you hit the enemy and you do Assassin Strike damage. Now that's how it used to be, and that's why Stalkers were not the best AT to use, but it's changed. If you don't know, you can use your Assassin Strike while you are unstealth, or as long as you have hide active as well. But when you get criticals, or depending on your power set, when certain things happen, it lights up your Assassin Strike and you get that amount of damage as well. It's amazing, and there are some power sets that let you do other combos and cool things, and it has an edge over a lot of the other melee ATs right now. So looking at their primaries, we're just going to go down the list. We have Broadsword, which is pretty good actually. If you've ever wanted to try Broadsword, you're going to want to do that on a Stalker. The reason being, Broadsword was from the beginning supposed to have a very long cast time type deal. You weren't supposed to be able to crit as often, but Stalkers have a controlled crit, so they're able to get this broadsword to go off almost every time. Well, basically every time that they want it to, because they're not opening with Assassin Strike anymore. What Stalkers are doing is they're taking their highest ability, so in this case I believe it is actually Head Splitter. You open with that from stealth, you don't have to wait for the response time to go, and then you're able to just start doing damage immediately. You go Disembowel, maybe you placate. Some people don't placate. You get your plus defense here through parry, which there's actually a way that Stalkers can abuse that with the, I believe it's shield defense abilities, to get just crazy amounts of the plus hit points. And the only thing is, though, that grant cover is not is affecting your teammates, not you, for the benefits that it gives to defense. So you're not directly getting that. I wish they'd change that. But what you do get, and what we'll talk about more, is Shield Charge, because Shield Charge is really interesting. We all know that shields are able to teleport, right? And then they deal damage. Well, on a Stalker, it's a give and take. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is it doesn't break stealth. Shield Charge summons a pseudo pet that deals damage at the targeted location. So if you use it from stealth, you're not going to break stealth, But the bad news is it does not crit like any other ability used from stealth would. Same thing goes for electric melee. The lightning rod ability summons a pseudo pet which does damage. Even if you teleport in with your invisibility, it's going to not break your stealth, but it won't crit. Now that could be good for PvE if you're trying to clear mobs and stuff and you want to get the highest survivability you can. I don't know if you can actually, I mean, on lower settings, I'm sure you can. You'd have to spec pretty hard to be able to just two-shot mobs like that. I'm sure you could if you got enough damage, build up, all that good stuff. Maybe some teammates help you out. But let's keep going in order, and I have to click off shield defense because it's not available for everything. Claws is interesting, and I wouldn't really recommend it on a Stalker. Unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend Claws on almost anything. But if you want to do costumes, it looks really cool. I've seen some people post online their costumes with claws, and I'm always kind of jealous that it looks so nice. They do get a ranged ability in the form of focus, which is like a little throwdown. When I was really young, this is one of my main. Or I was a kid, I never got him past like 25, but I spent so much time leveling him up way back in the day. Looks cool. I'll never use it again though. Dark melee is acceptable if you want to use it. You're giving -2 hit to your opponents when you deal damage to them. But I think there's a few other primaries that would be better suited, and dark melee is maybe better on a tank or someone who's trying to mitigate that way. But it would increase your survivability a little bit more. Dual blades is interesting because it looks really cool, but I don't think that it's for Stalker. I think that, oh man, look at this. I'm gonna go backwards for a minute. Wow, the Black Knight. Look at this from Dual Blades. Now this is something I would want like on a tanker where maybe the primary or the damaged melee doesn't matter as much. There's a water sword. Oh, it's flaming and I'm dripping. I was like, no way. Although I might do that pretty soon. That looks awesome. But no, for a Stalker, you're getting these effects and bonuses and stuff, but it's you have to go through the combos too much. It's not going to be good. It's slashing and damage, which a lot of people are resistant to. Now, electric's good. We kind of talked about that before. The abilities you would take is just Havoc Punch, Build Up, Assassin Shock, maybe Placate, maybe you don't need it. And then I would say just Thunder Strike and Lightning, and you'd probably be good. Chain Induction only hits 3 at a time, and I'm starting to think that it's not the best. Energy Melee was okay back in the day, and that was a staple for Stalkers with Energy Melee. But it's not as good anymore, as anybody will tell you. A lot more sets have the ability to counter energy melee now, so it's not going to be as advantageous as it once was. Wham. Fire melee for a Stalker could be funny if you wanted to do mass AoE, because another thing that you can do is open up with an AoE ability, and then it's going to crit everybody around you as well. So really there is no reason to open up with Assassin Strike anymore. So look at this Fire Sword Circle that you can do every time, but this is not the only ability, primary ability that gives you that AoE. It does give you Breath of Fire, which you probably wouldn't use anyways. I mean, the dots from this is nice, but I still think there's better choices. Ice Melee, I've heard interesting things about. You could do Ice Melee if you wanted to take advantage of the Ice Patch, where you set it down and then the foes around you are going to get knocked down. And then you also get Freezing Touch and Frozen Aura for those around you. But you have to be careful with these AoE things on a Stalker as well. So does that actually do damage? Yes, damage moderate. So that would be good as well. Kinetic Melee looks really cool, and I wish that I could say that we could use it. If this is probably, again, more for a tank or something where maybe it doesn't matter as much because you're just there to take aggro and stuff. But they look really cool. Such a long animation. And I wish I could use it, but it's not available. Not. Look at that. Way too long. Way too long. Martial arts, probably not. There's not really a place for martial arts anymore. Maybe on Scrappers if you want to, but Scrappers are in a really weird place right now. Ninja Blade, I've heard that that's actually okay if you pair it with electric armor, is supposed to be good. Now electric armor is, and we'll start talking about the armors pretty soon. Electric armor is going to give you plus speed. It's going to give you a bunch of these good benefits. Oh, I really like that thing on this guy, the Black Knight sword. I'm glad he could have it here. You don't get the AoE ability, that's replaced by Hide, but you do get Lightning Reflexes, which is going to make you move a lot faster and get some more bonuses. Resistance to end drain, I believe. Energy Aura is probably the best secondary for Stalkers right now, and a lot of people are leaning that way. We'll get to the rest, but this being paired is probably the best, the top tier. Psionic Melee, speaking of which, is also probably the top tier for the ability Greater Psi Blade, which you can use. You can use that from stealth, and you can two-shot anybody who has less than, 1,000 hit points. I think it hits for almost over 1,000. God, it looks cool. Even the original looks nice. How does it look as if it were water? Wham! Maybe. Psionic Melee is really good, and if you want to do PvP, the go-to spec right now is Psionic Melee Energy Aura. Radiation is better for AoE, but you don't want to be standing in AoE long enough to take advantage of the contamination effect, so probably not. Savage Melee looks cool. I just want to show it on this guy because I'm sure it looks cool on him. But I've had some problems with it. I know that it has the teleport as the T9 ability, and some people are using it on Stalker right now, and it seems like they're having success with hemorrhage, and then being able to move around with Savage Loop, like getting an escape or an engage to the next, and then rending. I guess you could keep it up for a while. You could pair that with Bio, would be a good pairing. And we'll talk about that for a moment as well, because Bio is probably the second best aura that you could have. You get the different adaptations to use, and the plus, I believe, is 20% damage is very valuable. What you don't do though on a Stalker is you don't take the last 3, because you don't want to be doing that AoE and pulling that taunt towards you and stuff. If you're doing PvP, if you're doing PvE, then yes, you want to take it. Spines on a Stalker used to be good in live, but probably not as much anymore. Toxic damage is rarely resisted, but it is. There are some sets that allow people to take advantage of that. This is really good on brutes. You don't really need to be using. God, I mean, it is so good. I just love spines. You could do it on a Stalker. What am I saying? Go ahead if you want to. Customize the heck out of it. It's just so old for me. I've done spines so many times. I couldn't stand doing it again. Now, Street Justice is interesting because on the pylons, it is one of the more sustainable damages. So, like, if you didn't want to do Psi, you could do Street Justice. It gets really cool animations. I especially like Spinning Strike. It's one of my favorites. You get like a secondary combo thing going on here, trying to get all your things to proc and go off. It's really fun. It's better for a little bit longer fights, so it's a little bit better with maybe Bio Armor instead of Energy Aura, but Energy Aura would be good for it too. Staff fighting on a Stalker, probably not. Again, this is one that you would want to do on a tank, or maybe a Scrapper, but on a tank definitely, because you're going to be able to boost yourself and stuff. All right. They do have pretty cool animations on staff fighting though. Actually, you know what? I bet he could have a trident. Let's see, can he have one? Oh, there it is. Let's see how he looks with a trident. There you go. Wham! Open up with Eye of the Storm. Spin around like the guy from Hellboy. Nah, takes too long. Guarded spin he'd be using a lot. Wham! Looks neat. Pick whatever you want. Anything will work in PvE. I'm just being hypercritical. To go briefly through the secondaries, Dark, probably not too endurance heavy. You don't want to be modifying or having to swap off your abilities that much on a Stalker. Bio, of course, is really good. We talked about that a little bit. Electric you can do is good. Energy Aura is probably the best right now. Fiery Aura probably not. I mean, you could do Burn, but you're not going to benefit from the crit as much. So like, why? You're just it's kind of a waste. Ice Armor. I've heard people are doing ice now on Stalkers, and it sounds really funny to me, and I want to see more of that. Maybe I don't because they're all invisible, but I see Bastion. Ugh. You'd be invincible. That's good. You get what is that? Looks like defense. Compared to super reflexes, I'm not sure. I don't really think you would take Caltrops. And I mean, you could bind it and then have a good ability to boom, and then like the person can't move as long as they were right next to you. The other thing that you want to do on stalkers is make sure that you're binding your abilities to follow. So all your primaries, at least your openers, if not all of them, it's pretty easy to set up a macro or even to bind a specific key if you know that's the one that you're going to use for your initiators to set you to follow the target. And I might make a video later on some of my macros and keybinds because I have a lot of them, and that is one that I use for almost every melee person that I character that I have. Is you want them to be able to follow and stay, so they are never saying like out of range, especially if you lag from time to time. Invulnerability, I've heard great things about, makes you one of the most resistant, resilient stalkers that there is. You get unstoppable. Oh man, could you imagine what you could do with invulnerability? But I think more so you want heals over just the damage mitigation on a stalker because you're gonna get hurt, so you want to be able to make up for that. And I think better than invulnerability, you could pick something else. Rad armor I think is better on other ATs, brutes, tanks, maybe something like that. Sentinels, it's supposed to be really good on Sentinels. Stalker, I'm not sure about, and I don't think so. Now, a lot of people say regen is the way to go. I and some other people don't, because like we said, you're going to be taking that damage anyways, and then you have to heal for it. So this gives you the most opportunities to do that, but so does willpower, and willpower gives you a little bit more. And regen is really good. It was really good back in the day, and if that's what you want to go for, or even thematically, or you don't want a bunch of stuff covering up your costume, go for regen. You'll be fine. Same for willpower. You could do either of those, and you're going to be able to heal through a lot. Super reflexes is good as well. Stalker is probably one of the few places you could use it. I actually wouldn't really recommend it in most cases, especially because practice brawler and elude, you got to pop it all the time. Sounds kind of annoying, honestly. And then shield defense we talked about already. You do still get defense from all odds from those around you. Don't get to take most advantage if you're doing one-on-one in PvP, so maybe not the best there, but for PvE, definitely shield if you wanted to. Also, you can make it like kind of like a little buckler thing going on. So now we're going to move over to the different builds that I have lined up for us. So let's look at that. And to start off, we have a psionic melee SAS energy aura, very popular. This person here is, of course, not going to pick Boggle. Some people say pick it, some people don't. They get everything else, mass levitate, lifting them up in the air. He's skipping overload, which I've heard other people do as well because they don't want to deal with the crash, but you go for everything else. Yeah, not disrupt either. You don't need the disorient. Looking through here, I see that he's going to have a lot of defensive sets, res sets. Oh, he's pretty close to max. Wow, look, he even has rune protection. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, he's maxed now. You're not stopping him. This would be a good one to do in PvP. And in case you guys aren't aware, I'm using the 3,500 plus builds pack. You can find it online, and you can see in the top left corner the name of each of the builds that I'm looking up here, so you can look them up there. And I encourage you guys to mess around on Pine's Hero Builder. Even if it says mids, open it in Pine's. That's the trick, and you get to mess around with these a little bit. It's cool because the more you look at these, you get to say, okay, this is what I want to move here, or you know, maybe I don't want maneuvers. Maybe I want assault. What do I put in assault? Well, it's one endurance IO, no matter where you are. You know, maneuvers is almost always a 3 slot of Luck of the Gambler. This guy has the alternative, which we've seen before, which is a Luck of the Gambler, and then a 2 or 3 slot reactive defense. He's going over the cap. Boom, we can move that around. That's what you come to find. Now, Assassin Sideblade, Superior Stalker's Guile, the whole thing. Let's look at the Stalker Archetype proc. It is a chance to hide, which I've used before, and you do actually want to put that on Assassin Strike, yes, because you use Assassin Strike, it hides you, and then the T9 ability that you use, or in this case the T8 because you use Greater Sideblade, crits again. So you've got like Greater Sideblade, and then it probably has a proc on that. Does he have a proc on the Greater Sideblade? Let me see. Yeah, he does. Chance for hold. So he hits you, he holds you, he gets his proc for Assassin Strike. He chances to hide, he hides again, he goes to Greater Sideblade, and then he hits you again, he holds you again, or he does whatever depending on his recharge. It looks like he's at 178%, and he has no hasten? He doesn't even have hasten. That's ballsy. He does have Placate with a 1 invention recharge. Preventative Medicine, he's got Kick pretty slide out, maybe he uses Kick to fill in the gap Alright, moving on. Now this is a psionic melee ninjutsu build. I thought we could take a look at this. Totals real quick, 26 to 47. Wow, not as good as the other one. Does he have anything we could turn on? No, and remember these are going to be on clicks, so he's going to have to click that every so often, do a little bit of micromanaging. The Kujin Retsu doesn't have it. Interesting. It's got almost all the same powers as the other guy had, and it looks like he's also slotting similarly. Yeah, see, he has the chance to hide on the side on the Assassin Strike, and then on the Greater Side Blade. Nope. Where's his chance to build up? Oh, it's on Telekinetic Blow, so he's doing a little bit differently here. Maybe he uses that more. Side Blade only has 3 Makos. Got Tough and Weave. Couple more. The Street Justice Energy. Now this is a pretty good combination, and you can do it with Bio instead. Either way works. Oh, don't take that away. No. Oh, I got rid of Spinning Strike. Oh well. And Crushing Upper Strike. Now, Spinning Strike, do you want AoE? Not in PvP, but if you're doing PvE, definitely you're going to want to take Spinning Strike. I guess I don't want to do PvE because I got rid of it. In that case, you would also need Super Speed, so maybe I'd put that in. I'll put Super Speed in its place. And when you slot Super Speed, all you want to put in there is the Res to Slow from Winter's Gift. And that's it. And then everything else you can slot around. Energy Drain, Rune of Protection. Ooh, he has Rune of Protection. Let's see. I'm seeing so many people go for that, and that's really how you max out that resistance. If that's one of your goals, you have to get Rune of Protection. This guy got Rune of Protection with Spirit Ward, Mystic Flight. I'm taking Super Speed. I would almost say take Arcane Bolt. Why not get another ranged in there in case you need it? Why get Spirit Ward? What are you putting in there? Spirit Ward, he's putting in... I can't even read it. Spirit Ward, where did you take it? Crushing. Spirit Ward. Oh, he just wants a chance for Absorb. Oh, that's a good reason to get it, I guess. It's the only time you would use it. That's probably why people get it. This is a Street Justice Bio. So he has Kinetic Combat, a little bit cheaper set you could get in. Gladiator, got some 2 procs in there for Heavy Blow because he's going to be hitting it every so often. He has to hit it every so often to get the combo on the rest of his Street Justice stuff to get Crushing Uppercut to be able to hit. He also has Parasitic Aura and DNA Siphon. I'm not sure if I agree. Alright, and it looks like no Rune of Protection for this guy. Nope. Combat Jumping, still doesn't have Super Speed. This might be more of a PvE build, but he does have Soul Mastery. And Soul Mastery is the one that you definitely want to go to. Getting advantage of that new changes to Snipe with the Moonbeam. What's Shadow Meld? Oh, just plus defense. Yeah, so I guess he doesn't really need it. He's got good enough defense. Again, procking the same way. Actually, no, this guy put the build up into Assassin Strike. I don't think I agree with that either. Parasitic Aura with Doctored Wounds. Got Ragnarok where he can. Or is that's Ragnarok, right? Yeah, Ragnarok. Okay. This is a Psionic Energy Aura. I think we looked at a different one. This should be a different one here. I hope I didn't pull it up twice. We can see... It looks very similar to the one that we looked at. Nah, Blaze Mastery. This one's different. Rune of Protection as well. Getting that cap. Whoa, look at that. 75 goes down to 51. 66% defense. That's strong. That's strong on a Stalker. Could you imagine coming up against that? It doesn't have Assault. I don't think he even needs it. 147% recharge. Am I missing anything? Ender's Strain. So he doesn't die. Wow. Looks really good. And the last one that we have here is the Broadsword Shield Defense. This is an interesting one, and there's been a couple of variations on the forums that I recommend you guys check out. He's got a lot of Mako's Bite in here. He's going to be opening. He almost has too many attacks here because you're going to go Head Splitter, maybe Head Splitter, Parry, Assassin Slash, and Hack, and that's probably all you need. Maybe one more. But he also has Arcane Bolt. This guy has a lot of powers. He's got Hasten. I think he's overcompensating a little bit. Maybe does or doesn't take active defense. I've never seen that before. Okay, and then defense, resistance. Now, not as big right now, but it depends if he has enemies around him or teammates around it and how he's helping them out. But it looks like this might be an interesting build to try. I think that you should look on the forums for this one because I believe that somebody posted a really good one that they found that it almost kind of breaks the way that this works, and I don't think that it included Blade Mastery. Oh, one with the shield. That's what we didn't see. Look at this. There you go. Way over the cap when you're one with your cap anyways. That's so cool. You don't even need it. Wow. So stalkers are in a really good place right now. If you wanted to try one, do it. We can look at, just for a moment, the stalker abilities one more time. And I want to say, well, no, we said that the teleportations and all that stuff. I mean, it's kind of fun stuff that you can do with them. You can sell through missions. People say that they don't really appreciate stalkers on the team or that they die a lot, but you're just controlling your crits. And if you're smart about it, and if you have macros and you're setting your build-ups and stuff to be a bit faster and applying with powers and cutting down the time that you're spending in between and the human error, I think you're going to be in a good place, especially in PvP, especially in zones. But remember, range is a lot easier, and a lot of people are stealth right now. Watch out for Fortunatas because they can definitely see you as well. So, thank you for watching. My name is SP Jimmy, and make sure that you guys enter the costume contest with the information up on the screen. Do costumecontestjimmy@gmail.com and enter it for your chance to win. Hit notification and subscribe so you're aware of the next video when it comes out, and I will see you guys in a little bit.